7 Days to Shiny June, Book 2 by Blue Bastard. Chapter 5. Wednesday, AM. Lazy Days, Crazy Dolls. Once again, Sunset found herself waking up at sunrise. Though at least this time she wasn't as sleep deprived. Hopefully I'm not needed to help in the bakery again, she thought, going through her usual motions of prep in the morning. Her crippling self-awareness about not having to cover up her exposed sex was as much less so than yesterday. Though she could only figure it out more of a need to adapt to her situation because of the simple lack of anything close to pony panties being available. Still, she would prefer walking around just underwear to walking around not in underwear. "Morning, Miss Shimmer," greeted Mr. Kink as the unicorn descended the stairs. "Good morning, Mr. Kink. How's Mrs. Kink?" "Oh, she's still down with the pox, unfortunately. Pinky's off visiting her family on the Pie Rock Farm today. So Sugar Cute Corn will be taking the day off since it's only me here who can bake." Naturally, her recently increasing stance on being as helpful to all as she could be led to Sunset speaking before thinking. "But what about yesterday? I can help." "If it hadn't been for you, yesterday would have been an unmitigated disaster. As it is, I can't possibly ask you to help out again. Not we're down as Pinky as well. Besides, probably for the best. I really need a day off, and I can't imagine a better way to spend time with my kids." "Oh, okay then," Sunset chirped as she made her way out the door. As out of earshot, Mr. Kinks, he sighed with relief. "Just as I would have liked to help again, I can't afford to lose more time. Gotta check out Raspberry to see if she..." As if on cue, the very same pony happily trotted right in front of Sunset, not noticing the amazed unicorn's eye-to-eye stare, nor did the magical green phoenix seem to be following the red-hued bear's path. "Well, shit, that's convenient," thought Sunset, stunned. "I can't just walk behind her. She'd make me in a moment. Visibility spell would help, but what if she could see through that? I need a disguise." Fortunately for the pony turned human turned back again, I just noticed something in the back of the shop in the nearby Shukyu corner. A wide, devilish grin formed in front of her muzzle, for she had found a perfect disguise. It had been months since her last incident, and so to Raspberry Barrel, it was great to have the confidence to be able to happily trot around without being looked down upon. Plus, she was out running errands for Cashmere, which was also good as he didn't really get to go out much. Of course, he hadn't gone out much before the incident last nightmare night, where a very literal dark secret had come to light. That said, Raspberry preferred her current hermit status to the one she held before. At least now, she no longer had to worry about ponies finding out what she could do, and burning her at the stake. Plus, she thought, I didn't have to lose Heliodor. Glancing up at the soaring green avian, Raz smiled. She thought the world of the bird. It had only been her family for 9 years, until she had been taken in by Ascot and Cashmere to live at the Traveler's Retreat. Indeed, he had risked his life numerous times, almost truly losing it at her trial from hell, no thanks to small part to Blue Blood's greed. But then she noticed something unusual. There, partially hidden behind a wall, and partially hidden inside the alley, was a box. A typical large cardboard box. It had no markings other than a giant red exclamation point on each side. Idly, Raspberry noted the box was large enough to hold a pony underneath it. But she shook her head before looking up to her pet and found a purse on the lamppost. "Think I'm seeing things, Healy?" she asked. Heliodor nodded playfully in response, and she groaned. "Of course you do. Come on, still got things to pick up. Fixture forgot to put in an order for the dumb toilet part that we need to go. So, gotta go pick it up." As Raspberry and Heliodor left, Sunset risked letting out a small, built-up brush he had been holding. Amazingly, she'd forgotten to cast an invisibility spell. So without further ado, she cast one, the box melting into nothing, concealing its secret cargo. Then, an added layer herself cast invisibility on herself. Unfortunately, Sunset wasn't quite as skilled as she believed. While true, she honestly was still a very good spellcaster. Visibility spells hadn't always been a difficult matter for her. As a recently turned unicorn who couldn't try to cast invisibility spells since before going through the mirror the first time, her problems with that particular difficult kind of magic was degraded further. The end result is being no more than 5 minutes after casting a spell when it wore off, bringing the box into view. Sunset, being on the inside, didn't recognize her disguise's first layer had already been stripped away, much less the second soon after. Come on, Diamond, called out Silver Spoon. Seriously, it's like you normally don't do this much walking. Well, normally, because I don't, retorted Pink Philly. Honestly, I still don't see how all of you convinced me to go along with this little present anyway. Evelyn groaned. I'm sorry, but back when we were all wolves, I'm pretty sure you're perfectly capable of. I thought we agreed never to talk about that again, you cow. Sorry, Apple Bloom. Diamond mentally faced off. This whole being nice thing was probably the most difficult thing he ever had to do. Getting everything he'd done wrong by the Cutie Crusaders and the Silver Spoon, having to deal with being part of their little club was Diamond's penance to pay. Besides, given the monsters to become, both metaphorically and physically, the last time she got against the Crusaders, it was the preferable option. See, you're getting better at it, praised Skulu. Maybe there is hope of you not trying to insult any of us on a daily basis. I'm not going to justify that with a comment, snorted Tiara. The urge to shoot a nasty look at the Pegasus almost too much to keep down by sheer force of will. Yeah, Silver piped in wirily. At this rate, you'll easily tone it down to, like, insults every other day or something. Girls, come on, let's decide what we need to be doing, sighed Sweetie Belle. This is going to work. We need a box of some kind. You mean like that one? Said Silver, pointing to a box with red lights in its waist point. Immediately, the box lifted up, aglow with a flickering pale aura. Yeah, that'll do, said Sweet, straining to keep the box up. She failed, the box becoming dull again and fell to the ground. It would have crumpled had it not been for Silver and Appleblue's quick movements to bounce it on their backs. That was a close one, laughed the farm filly. Yeah, I'll see. Now come on, shouted Skulu. We gotta get this back to the Fortress of Awesomeness. The what now? Remarked Diamond in perfect deadpan. Sweet face huffed. The tree house. She turned there to Skulu. How wild grin. If Basil's still here, see what that did, right? Yep, that's what I said. Because now I know she's not the only Crusader who would. Started the orange filly, only to receive a white punch on her foreleg. Oh, what's that for? Well, some ponies gotta take Basil's place, don't they? Smart Diamond leaned the way back to the treehouse. I'll be mightily angry at that if it wasn't for the fact you used to do a lot worse, Diamond. Admitted Scoot. Well, yes, you might have filled your room with kites. Mostly suggested Apple Bloom, classy devastated Silver. Hey, we already apologized for that, retorted Silver, only to get more laughter out of Apple Bloom. I don't know, I'm just giving you all a hard time. None of them noticed a yellow unicorn with flame hair, the one who had been under the box, still crouching low to the ground, slowly moving forward. Sunset looked around. The flesh her covered and mysteriously vanished the moment she blinked. And her son thought, the money's unicorn, and decided it didn't matter. As long as her invisibility spell was up, she didn't have anything to worry about. I did not mean to offend you, your highness, profusely apologized Pear Blossom, as the pale beige earth pony looked at her with Pear's best customer. But I did not think you could carry so many pears. Seriously, Pear, just call me Raz. The pony in question insisted. The whole princess thing is just formality. Given my magic handicap, it usually only needs to be mentioned if I need to scare somebody. Pear adjusted her latest red cap. I must see that, Raz. But still, how did you get so many pears back to the retreat? Raz laughed. Simple. With one foot most of her head, her horn lit up in its hazy, bubbly dark aura, purple and green. Sans her eyes. Noticing Pear Blossom's look confused as she sighed. Let me guess, you're expecting the eyes thing too. But yes, isn't that part of documented use? Normally, but that crap irritates my eyes, so I figured out how to nullify it. Several crates of pears have been behind Pear Blossom's stall, slowly became uniformly shrouded in a black aura, before they all winked out of existence. And here we go. Go where? Why, to the retreat, of course. I just teleported them back to Mom so she can show them out to the kitchen. Just because my magic is a dark persuasion doesn't mean it can't be used for mundane purposes. Oh, I said suddenly mundane, That pair. Impressed with Raspberry's minor demonstration her mundane powers of darkness. Suddenly, she saw some movement behind her customer. Hey, what is that? Raspberry in confusion. What was that? That's a man, over there, Prayer pointed out with her hoof. As Raspberry carried straight to the falls, he saw Sunset shimmer. For any reason, Yellow Mare was crouching as if trying to hide, her face oriented towards where Raspberry Barrel was standing, but her eyes were closed, as if she stupidly believed that would help her hide. Don't know how she lost the box, but obviously I was right, thought Raspberry with a smirk, a knowing look on her face as she glanced up at Heliodor. He merely bowed and waved a wing around, as if gracefully accepted defeat for being wrong. Raz just laughed as her attention went back to Pear Blossom, needing her to use a tone that sounded conversational, but reduced the volume enough that Sunset wouldn't hear. I do believe she's following me, but don't worry. I'm sure there's a rational explanation for her behavior. If for any reason there isn't, she's just one pony. Nothing compared to the entire towns I've had to outrun in the past. Oh man, I trust you know what you're doing then. Oh, I was sending a bill by mail later today. Thanks. Hopefully it arrives this week, Judge Raz. I mean, Derpy's good at her job, but there's always that one letter she ends up losing for weeks. Anyway, gotta go. I'll talk to you later. As Sunset watched Raspberry Barrel leave once again, after what may have been her looking in the general direction of the Mighty Unicorn location, it appears she didn't notice anything different or out of the ordinary. Man, Solid Snake really did know what he was doing, thought Sunset, slowly inching her way past the pear stand. From behind said stand, a very confused Pear Blossom watched Sunset slicklessly pursue Raspberry, which was odd, considering the unicorn in question was invisible. She must be looking at something behind me, Sunset thought, doing her best to keep up with her darker counterpart. At least, until darker counterpart suddenly darted to a side alleyway, which, judging from the phoenix circling above, must have meant she had taken a wrong turn. But as Sunset slowly clip-clopped her way up to the entrance, she saw no trace of Raspberry Barrel. Boo! Slinking the voice of Raspberry Barrel from behind Sunset, scaring her a foot into the air and subsequently trapping her between the end of the alley and Raspberry herself. How did you see me? Blared Sunset. I was invisible at everything! Raspberry, in turn, looked at Sunset as she was stupid in ways not yet discovered by ponykind. No, you weren't. In fact, I know you were following me for the past hour. Even Pear Blossom saw you for Celestia's sake. Shit! Thought Sunset, trying to come up with an excuse. Well, okay then. So, gonna tell me why you've been following me around? Sunset wanted nothing more than to call out the mayor in front of her, to demand that she stop tormenting Twilight with nightmares or else. But Phoenix Wright had taught her anything, since he couldn't convict without evidence. Thus, Sunset decided to pursue another course. Yes, it's a simple explanation, actually. Oh. Smokescreen! Sighed Sunset, quickly casting a obscurity spell that happened to create a cloud of smoke, in the hopes she could run past the blinded duplicate of herself and escape. And it almost worked, too, had it not been for her space smashing into a wall of black crystal that somehow spontaneously erupted from the ground. Trust me, Sunset, chided Raz. I basically mastered that trick during my time living alone in the Sierra Nevada desert a few years back. Smokescreens were the only way to outwit those damn snakes. You don't say! Replied the dazed unicorn, reeling from having gotten her first direct taste of dark magic. Now, I believe you were about to tell me why you were following me around? During that, Sunset looked from the scrutinizing glare of a lookalike to the wall of obsidian-like dark crystals, blocking her only escape. It was clear she wasn't getting out of this one with more cheap tricks. Personally, Sunset thought of a way she could both explain her strange behavior to Raspberry and try to get some information at the same time. Alright, you caught me, Sunset exclaimed, raising her forelegs in marked surrender. Princess Celestia has instructed me to keep an eye on you. Technically not a lie. Raspberry squinted suspiciously at Sunset. Is that so? Are you two buddies again? Sunset flinched, Well, not exactly. But she did ask me to watch you. You can check with her yourself if you want. Raspberry's skeptical look remained unchanged. Fine. Why does she want you keeping tabs on me? Drawing on all her experience intimidating the students of Caroline High, Sunset did her utmost to look as casual as possible, idly expecting her hoof as she dropped what she hoped would be the landline. Lonesome Dove. It got the reaction Sunset was hoping for. Raspberry furrowed her brow and tilted her head back. I went over that with her a dozen times. It's finished! Sunset took a step forward as he pressed her attack. Celestia doesn't see, so hence me. Sunset began to stalk around Raspberry, like a predator circling its prey. Sunset could see the inner pony's confidence slip away, just like with the teens she used to bully and manipulate. Her tall shadow loomed over Raspberry. Presidency Sunset swore would never see her face again without full force, what's her saying. But this is for Twilight. Now, I don't actually have all the details of what happened in your hometown. You'd be making my job a lot easier if you told me exactly what happened. Sunset grinned. Of course, I'm going to find out sooner or later, but you might as well spend the beans now. The Sunset's replies. Raspberry stomped the hoof down and gained a bit of ground. If you think you could just bully me into telling you about my personal life, you got another thing coming! Raspberry stepped back and collected herself. You must know, exclusively being able to use dark magic made for a very difficult childhood. Twilight and I went back to Lonesome Dove a couple of months ago to try to set some of it right, get me some closure. Unfortunately, things didn't go exactly as planned. Raspberry's horn glowed bubbly, dark ichor, indigo dark magic in an instant. A wall of dark crystals blocking the entrance without a finished. That's all I feel like saying. Russ says he stepped aside. You can go. Sunset wanted to know more, but figured that was all she was going to get out of the warlock. She had to lean on the rest on her own. Fine. But before departing, Sunset went right up to Raspberry and pressed her face to hers. But just so you know, I'm watching you like a hawk. Evidently, the statement didn't have the desired effect. A big stupid grin formed on the dark unicorn's face. Like a hawk? Why don't you watch me like a punk? Ras! Sunset! I'm glad I found you! Sulking the voice of Applejack. Emerged out of view. Both unicorns turned towards her, suddenly completely affable. Listen, I'd like to ask you all about this, but Big Mac's brain is right hind leg, so we need your help to harvest the apples. Did you ask Twilight or the others? Asked Raspberry. Yeah, I tried to. Got every pony except Twilight. Turns out she's doing some official princess business or what have you. Well, I love to, but I still got some errands to run. However, Raspberry gave a sly look at Sunset. I'm sorry, Sunset has something better to do today, right? Well, I am, inspired the flustered unicorn. She wanted to deeply a Raspberry. Her box gone, Raspberry aware of her intentions. In fact, that Applejack telling Applejack anything at all related to what she had been doing, like insanity, alienated the Earth Pony. She was at a loss of what to say. I don't understand he has stuff to do, Sunset, said Applejack. That's a cost in her voice. Well, it's not expected, given her reaction to me Sunset just 2 nights ago, under the pretense she was still a power-hungry wannabe princess. Well, I would really appreciate the help. Plus, since it might take a while, I was going to bring out one to reserve apple cider barrels for every opponent, too. Did you just say apple cider? Asked Simmer, her priority suddenly shifting. Well, yep, I know. And it ain't the non-alcoholic stuff we usually sell either. This is the Apple family private reserve I'm talking about. Of course, you're one of those ponies who didn't drink alcohol for whatever reason. Got the regular kind, too. Screw that. You have no idea how bad I really want a good heart sire. Where's Sunset? Faint hints of desperation in her voice. Yeah, I'll come out and help with the apple harvesting. Thank you, Candle Sunset. Come on, we gotta get started right away, or else we'll be out all night. As the farmer led the unicorn away, Raspberry gave Sunset a smirk. Trust me, you'll probably thank me for volunteering you once he takes that sire. We'll see about that, thought Sunset, as I'm not done with you yet, Raspberry. Not by a long shot. Mike, we really need to let this place go, haven't we? Asked Luna, as he surveyed the decayed ruins of Castle Everfree. Well, not like there was any choice, Luna, said Celestia. After he arrives as Nightmare Moon, a secretive banishment, no point wanted to remain here in the capital. By the time the original fears of your presence still lingering these walls had vanished, the forest had already begun to claim the area. Thus, with Canterlot nearly built, there was no need for a whole castle beyond hiding the elements of harmony. Indeed, though it must be look here now, all around the castle that no pony lives in, it is remarkably well kept. Well, my friends and I have been doing some cleaning up the place, said Twilight Blessing. It had been her idea to bring Celestia and Luna to Castle Everfree for purposes of trying to relocate the supposed mirror since it claimed to come through. Most of the castle remains in desperate need of TLC, but the path for the main entrance to the library, in the secret primary library, is mostly cleaned up as far as either me or my friends can accomplish. And all the traps are still in working order, asked Celestia, though Luna's ears perking up at the possibility of hearing something she was really interested in. Of course, Princess. Did I say as much in the letter I wrote to you? Oh wait, that might have been in the journal. Pardon me, but... interrupted Luna. You mean all the traps? Do you actually mean all of them, yes? Yes, they're all functional. They're all marked since they can still give ponies quite a scare, but... Actually, hold that thought, Twilight. Interrupted Luna once again. I need to use the little princess's room for a quick moment. The Princess of the Night did dart away into the castle interior before Twilight could reply. But, this castle doesn't have indoor plumbing, blurted the purple alicorn. It didn't exist when this castle was built. No, it doesn't, confirmed Celestia with a smile, but it does have a slide. So coincidentally, the sound of a very happy princess was heard echoing from somewhere in the castle. Oh, how I've missed this! Boomed Luna, momentarily using the majestic plural by accident as he was caught up in reliving memories of childhood. Celestia shook her head in amusement. You wouldn't believe how upset she was when she learned Castle Canterlot wasn't built of a slide, Twilight, said the eldest princess to her faithful protege. Though now she knows the original's still in working order, I fear there's going to be a no levy push for restoring this old castle, and possibly even some slide extensions. Well, I'm all for the preservation of history, replied Twilight. I didn't think it would be prudent to learn all the secrets of this castle first. After all, the very reason we're here is because of one secret, no? Celestia's smile quickly dropped into a hard line, though now in regards to Twilight. Indeed, though what I suspect is true, that one secret may just be the beginning of a whole collection of revelations which could help paint a larger picture of what went wrong those many years ago. As the princesses started to walk, they were both confident Luna could easily find them once again as she was done with her beloved slide. Twilight couldn't help but be unnerved by Celestia's words. I don't understand what you mean by painting a larger picture. Celestia took a deep breath, using her next words carefully. Twilight, who am I? So, the question only made young Alicorn more confused. Huh? You're Princess Celestia, the beloved ruler of Sorry, that may not have been the right thing to ask, apologized Celestia. I guess the more appropriate question would be, what am I, in your opinion? That's easy. You're a great ruler, wise and kind, but you're also my teacher, and just as much as part of my family as my friends and blood relatives. A second mother to me, really. You flatter me, Twilight, Celestia demurred, though it didn't stop her from blushing a little at Twilight's answer, being so personal. Though I must have been able to do the same with Sunset. The solar avatar lamented within her thoughts. Several had learned from her mistakes with her far too late. That in turn led to our next question for Twilight. Now, I need to ask you one more thing. I want your honest opinion. Princess, why would I ever be dishonest with you? Well, out of place, but my misguided attempts to spare me painful truths. Celestia asked, giving Twilight a knowing grin. Don't worry, I can take it. Twilight stood to her wings uncomfortably. I see. Alright then, what do you want to ask me? Twilight, do you think of me as infallible? Oddly, Twilight looked at Celestia as she grew on a second set of wings. No offense, Princess, but I've never thought of you as perfect. Whoa. Whoa. Agree, whoa. Just, whoa. I I am shocked, people. Do you know how many fanfics I've ever been through where Twilight's always been the submissive, little, nerdy girl who thinks Celestia is perfect every single freaking chapter? Hallelujah! The blunt honesty caught Celestia off guard. Admittedly, I did ask her to not hold back. Noticing Celestia's momentary shock, Twilight started listening to her reasoning. Look at your history as princess objectively. Your first years on the throne were a complete disaster! First off, you let Sombra's ambitions go unchecked beyond maintaining your position on the throne, which led him to going over the Crystal Empire, and we both know how well that went. Ditto for how Sable Lum was allowed to join him, which in turn resulted in the creation of werewolves, the problems for standing in those flea bags, of course, not needing to be mentioned. Then he spent quite a while having to deal with Discord when he forcefully took over, and only used the elements of harmony as the last resort, leaving months of the country in disarray. That, in turn, prompted Sombra to accelerate his build-up in preparation for war, which you plunged the country into only for the Crystal Empire to be lost, and you didn't actually kill that bastard anyway! And then, you failed to notice your own sister's growing resentment to the point that she becomes corrupted by her own animosity and jealousy towards you, and once again plunges Equestria into war. This time, a civil war, which you only were able to stop by banishing Nightmare Moon, aka your own sister, to the moon for 1,000 years. Thus, ensuring that she endured a millennium of the very things that caused her to turn Nightmare Moon in the first place. Oh, and then, every single one of those heavy hitters from 1,000 years ago showed up within recent history. You relied on me and my friends to deal with them because you, for whatever reason, couldn't finish the job! Celestia could only stare at Twilight as a smaller mirror had slapped her clean across her face. Twilight quickly realized this, and naturally went into a mad panic. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was born too blood. Please forgive me, princess, I didn't mean to. The presence of a gold hoof placing itself on Twilight's muzzle silenced the younger princess. Her eyes were still fearful, but surprisingly, Celestia was all angry. There's nothing I need to forgive you for, Twilight. You've done nothing but what I expectedly asked you to. But, spluttered Twilight. I made you sound really bad, when in reality you had justifiable reasons for doing what you did. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but with all the justification possible for any of those actions, it doesn't change the fact they reflect poorly on my leadership. My age and inexperience notwithstanding, nor do my other mistakes during my solitude on the throne become less poorly judged as the years progress. Twilight met her with a sad frown. Princess, why are you being so hard on yourself? You and you alone are the reason why Equestria enjoyed centuries of peace, often with you personally making sure the necessary actions were done. Even when you couldn't, you made sure the ponies who could were in the right place at the right time. After all, that's why you sent me to Ponyville, to meet the ponies who would be my closest friends, to save both Equestria and Luna by rejuvenating the elements, right? Indeed. Please do not think I'm being hard on myself and just as random. However, Pony's worst critic is more often than not themselves, and I have over 1,000 years of mistakes and regrets that I must bear silently in order to keep this land safe. As you are a princess yourself, Twilight, you must remember that though you are an alicorn, rarest of pony species, you are not infallible. I asked you to be brutally honest to me, because I needed that slap of reality. It grounds my judgment in reality. I see, but why are you telling me this? Because as I said before, I was hardly fit for the throne when I claimed to replace my mother, my concerns growing more in line with finding out potential usurpers than really being an effective leader. Celestia's gaze grew distant. At that moment, she was no longer in her mother's old castle, but somewhere else entirely. It is only too easy for things like the supposed mirror to have skirted around my awareness. But the fact that something as powerful as a gateway between realities lay hidden for 1,000 years. It could have let anything through and nobody would know. Worse still, the world's sunset comes to call home, yet in our Earl of Equest may more connected in history than any pony could have guessed. You're kidding, Lloyd, flatly stated Applejack, not fully convinced of what Sunset was saying. Nope, that's honestly the truth, replied the unicorn, trying a step with Applejack along the well-used road to Sweet Apple Acres. Well, I can't say I know your land, but at the same time, I can't imagine my family willing to sell the farm or go run a freaking store. I'm like, that's what Mr. Ritz does for the apples, working as middleman to sell out Chap Apple's Dam outside Ponyville and all. Sunset's eyes widened slightly. Mr. Ritz, as in Filthy Rich, as in the one who founded Barnyard Bargains and is probably on Walmart's hit list, Mr. Ritz? I don't know what Walmart is. Plus, I think it was Mr. Ritz's grandfather, Stinker Ritz, that founded the company. But otherwise, I guess we're talking about the same pony. I didn't know Barnyard Bargains worked so closely with independent farms. So, closest I've ever been to a Barnyard Bargains, anything, was the distribution center that was being built at what had been my home. Say what now? Exclaimed Applejack, stopping dead in her tracks. I know Mr. Ritz. So I know he would never go in and knock somebody's house down just to build something on top of it. At least not without asking first. Huh? I don't... Sunset then dawned to realization, chuckling at her little silliness. Oh, sorry, I wasn't being clear. Back in the human world, my home had really been an abandoned warehouse that I was sorta illegally living in. At least until the property got sold. Oh, well, can't say there's much to be done about that. Well, I'll bet whoever built that place might well be angry being torn down. The company that built it had long since gone out of business before I came along. It was some appliance company, Flim Flam Bros Manufacturing something. I don't remember. Now Applejack started to be wide-eyed. Did you just say something along the lines of Flim Flam Brothers having gone out of business years ago, or something of that nature? Sunset raised an eyebrow. I guess. Applejack's mouth seemed to waver before the farm wilted after. At least there's someplace out there that those two damn schemers have got to desserts. Unicorn turned upon a nervous smile. I take you on good terms with them? Applejack wiped a tear from her eyes and got back under control. Considering it cost my family no end of trouble, ranging from almost scamming us out of our farm to nearly getting Granny Smith to do something incredibly dangerous because their dumbass fake cure-all mayor thinks he was indestructible, I guess you could say I wouldn't have minded having them find an alternative, or should I say, honest employment that found my family care more misfortune. We got enough of that from... Applejack would seriously trade off for somewhere, piquing Sunset's curiosity. From what? Applejack shook her head. They weren't involved in that matter. Was I'd rather not talk about since it's private family business. I hope you understand. Sure. Sunset returned her attention to the road in front of her. A large red structure had since come into view in the distance. Alongside it were rows of trees as far as Sunset Summer could see. Is that it? Yep. It's just... Applejack was cut off as a large explosion suddenly sounded out too far away. Boom! Sound seemed to shake the ground beneath the two mares' hooves. That didn't sound good, said Sunset. You could know a trail of black smoke rising up the near distant red barn. I'll swear, if it's who I think that's responsible! Applejack muttered as he ran off at full gallop. As far as Sunset's mind as the identity of the culprits, she took off Applejack. Considering the haste in which the farm pony was moving, it could be only one group of fillies. Assuming the verses of Applejack's sister and friends, who Sunset was familiar with, were anything like the ones at the base of the distant column of smoke.